Hello, my name is Emma and welcome to Self Growth Uncensored. Today we are talking about how to live your best life as an Aries woman. As you can see, I intended to dress as an Aries woman because red is our color. Red is our power color. Okay, so in today's video, I have 5 sections planned. I got my little notebook. So section 1 is going to be all about who is she? Who is the Aries woman? The positive traits, the negative traits, because honestly, I think that a lot of them aren't really that negative. They can be easily viewed in a positive perspective. So that is section 1. Section 2, I'm going to be talking about the morning routine for an Aries woman, the best ultimate power routine, and why it's so beneficial and helpful for this specific sign. In section 3, we'll be talking about the goals and habits of an Aries woman, or the habits that she should develop, because they'd honestly be so helpful to really nurturing that inner energy and fire within her. In section 4, we're going to be talking about self-care and validation, and how with an Aries woman that is so important, and how instead of maybe craving it from other people so much, she can just give it to herself in a fun and exciting way, because that is something that the Aries woman wants so bad out of life, is to just have fun. If there was one song that I would apply to an Aries woman, it would be Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I don't know who that is by, but that is just, it's screaming Aries energy. And lastly, onto section 5, I have my biggest day-to-day tips I would give to an Aries woman. I have 3 of them, and they kind of just sum up everything that I'm planning about talking in the video, and live her best life. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so to start with the positive aspects of who is she, the Aries woman. Firstly, she is incredibly fiery. Being the first zodiac of all the 12, it's very much so like she's the child, and with children, it's all like, oh, me. It's all about me, and it's very fiery and energetic and passionate. In addition to this, the Aries woman is incredibly independent. As an Aries woman, I remember when I was little, my favorite song used to be I Can Do It On My Own. I was like 8. That just shows that independence is very important to an Aries woman, and when they get into a relationship, if they don't feel like they're receiving that, or that they're being too coddled, or someone is attaching to them, that will literally repel the shit out of them, and they'll leave. Aries women are also incredibly optimistic and just, oh my god, out of this world with their optimism. It's like, if I were to describe an Aries woman, it would be just this bubble of fire and happiness when they're at their best. Like, for all the Aries women I met, like, they'll walk into a room and literally have the biggest smile and the loudest laugh that you've ever heard. They are also incredibly bold. I know that for me. When I was when I was in my sophomore year of high school, I did not have an issue with going up to a guy and being like, hey, I think you're cute, let me have your number. Like, I had no fear. If they told me no, whatever, there's gonna be plenty more where that came from. That's the mindset of an Aries woman. They are extremely, and I mean extremely competitive. And with that, they're very sore losers. Losing is not an option for an Aries woman at all. It's very black and white. Go big or go home. Onto the more negative traits of the Aries woman. First off, she can be ruthless. And what I mean by this is that she has no problem saying no, and if you cross her boundaries, she won't have a problem with cutting you off either. She's super impatient. It's kind of like, I want it and I want it now. Any other time is not satisfactory for me or my life. She can be a little selfish because she's the child of the zodiac sign. Children are, you know, kind of like little narcissists and think everything is about them. She really does see the world through the lenses of herself and her own needs first. That's not to say that she's not compassionate or empathetic towards other people. It's just that she wants to be number one and she will see herself as number one. She's very short-tempered. It's easy to agitate an Aries woman, but when you make her happy, she's very, very happy. It's kind of like a double-edged sword in that sense. But it happens so quickly, agitating an Aries, but then she'll kind of calm down just as quickly as she was fired up. And then lastly, the negative trait of an Aries woman is that she can be quite an attention seeker. Aries love to be in the spotlight. They just want to walk in a room and have all eyes be on them. They are bold, they are courageous, and they do not give a fuck what anybody thinks about them or how anybody perceives them. That is why they are so damn career oriented, because they just level the hell up all the time. On to section 2, the morning routine for an Aries woman. This is my opinion, being an Aries woman myself, what I believe is the ultimate routine for the morning and how every Aries woman should really start their day. Firstly, waking up and making the bed. Obviously, honestly, that's not even an Aries woman thing. I think everyone should wake up and make their bed because it just really sets the tone for your day. Then exercise. Exercise is so important because Aries women have so much fiery energy. They have to get it out and get it out as soon as possible. The best exercise forms, in my opinion, for an Aries woman would be something that incorporates a lot of movement and heartbeat, like some cardio, whether that be weightlifting, going for a run, hot Pilates. Like, those are all such good options. I know for me, I don't really love starting my morning on like a calm note, whether that be journaling or meditation or anything slow. I kind of just wake up and want to be like, let's go, let's get this party started. After exercising, just having some sort of pleasurable taste. For me, that's coffee, because God forbid an Aries needs more energy, right? Or this can be like sensory filled meal that is just so fulfilling and another really great way to start off the day. After that, we're gonna go straight into making our to-do list for the day. An Aries woman is very action oriented. It's kind of like action first, think later. So by making a to-do list, it not only shows us, the brain, that, you know, we got stuff to do today and we're gonna do it, but it's just like it gives something to look forward to, and it creates that fun and excitement that the Aries woman craves so freaking bad. And then the last step of the morning routine is to have affirmations and music. I want you to dance it out in your room, because that's another part of Aries women is they like, you know, the attention and the validation. So by giving the validation to herself, oof, that is so good for her. So good. So just like turning on a YouTube video that has like really high vibe affirmations with music in the background, or putting in like AirPods or headphones or whatnot and putting on some like really good music and just like honestly affirming and dancing in the mirror. Like, you cannot get any better than that. I'm sorry. There's nothing better than that. Okay, section 3 is all about the goals and the habits of an Aries woman. So she is incredibly success oriented. This is why Aries women are really known to be like CEOs or leaders. I think that they're the sign that's most likely to run their own business. It makes sense, honestly. So with that, keeping in mind that the Aries is so success and career oriented, it is vital to read books in order to build knowledge on where she wants to go in life. From these books, I really love the whole self-help books. Like, honestly, yes, it's self-help, but it's honestly just like knowledge people should know, like how to take care of your mind, your body, how to grow your finances. So reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, Whole Brain Living, all of that good stuff is going to be so beneficial for her future and for her career. And not only reading those books, but also with self-help books in general, there's action steps in it. They're not intended to be a sit and read and close. They're intended to be a sit, a read, a close, and a do. So taking those action steps is going to be vital. Lastly, with the whole goals thing of Aries is, like I said, we can tend to be do now and think later without a plan. So making a plan, whether that be for your week, for your month, for your year, for 5 years, I don't care. But make a plan of some sort so that you can add some structure to your day. Okay, on to the habits of an Aries woman. I'm kind of going to include habits that she naturally does and habits that pretty much be helpful to add on to counteract her more negative traits. So to start off, we have meditation. Personally, I think I've tried so many times with like the sitting down and meditating, and yes, it is super helpful sometimes, but I find that something that includes movement that is in a meditative state is way more helpful and easier to stay consistent on. Walking is definitely a form of meditation, or even gardening, something that involves movement but also involves full focus on one activity and allowing your thoughts to just kind of like process and whatnot. That is meditation. You don't have to sit down and go like, you don't have to do that. That's not everyone's favorite form of meditation. Another good hobby for an Aries woman is anything that is creative and hands-on. This can be anything like ceramics, piano, singing, gardening, drawing, anything that involves creativity and kind of letting yourself flow. That is good. Joining a sport would also be so good to really feed into that competitive spirit of the Aries woman. This can be competitive against other people, like in sports like swimming, volleyball, and whatnot. But it can also be competitive against yourself, like beating your own records. For me, I weightlift, so I'm constantly trying to lift more weights than what I did in the past. This kind of just like feeds that competitive nature. Starting a business for an Aries woman would be so good because it fuels so many of her positive aspects. It feeds the independence, the fieriness, the kind of tendency to obsess, the being competitive, bold, successful, career-oriented, across the board. It all is just screaming and pointing at, start a business, start a business. It doesn't really matter what you do, but what does matter is that you are passionate about it, because Aries woman, all about that fire, all about that red energy. And then lastly, with the habits aspect and the goals aspect, is to bring in things that are very adventurous and fun and spontaneous. We love to keep busy as Aries women. We love to have something to look forward to. So just by incorporating anything small, it doesn't have to be that big, but just like, okay, I'm gonna go for a hike in a place that I've never gone. It's an adventure. You can just see it as that, and that just makes life so much more exciting. On to section 4 of how to live your best life as an Aries woman is self-care and validation. So like I said earlier, we are attention seekers. Instead of craving that validation from other people and that attention, we need to focus that spotlight on ourselves and give the validation to ourselves. It's super self-explanatory. You just tell yourself constantly about what you love about yourself, because shocker, the more that you tell yourself you love yourself, the more you actually start to love yourself. I know that as Aries women, we can tend to kind of desire love from other people in the form of relationship or kind of being okay with situationships. I mean, as an Aries woman, I pretty much always have a crush or 3 or 5. I'm calling myself out here. But use that energy and put it into yourself in the form of solo dates. These are so much fun. You can just do anything that you want to do by yourself. How great is that? My favorite solo day ideas is number 1, going to the beach, because this incorporates adventure, spontaneity, fire, like feeling the sand, all of that good stuff. Literally, I'll listen to a podcast, I'll listen to my music, I'll go swim in the water, I'll go tan. It's a great fucking time, okay? Rock climbing would also be so good, or weightlifting, because it's so physical and it brings out that competitive and adventurous spirit. Hiking or going on a picnic after going in for a hike is another way to romanticize your life and to create that adventure and spontaneity in the Aries woman. Going on a solo road trip would be the adventure of a lifetime. You could plan it all out and then pick an area, literally just go for a day and like a couple hours, a weekend, whatever, and just really soak in that whole experience and take a bunch of photos and videos and post it on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and just like live out that moment and enjoy it. Then lastly, shopping. Oh, go to a mall and just splurge. I mean, like, or not. You could just go to a mall and window shop if you don't have like the budget for it at the time. But just really taking that time to have quality connection with yourself is so important. And it really feeds into that whole attention on me spotlight moment. And lastly, for section 5, we have my top 3 biggest day-to-day tips for an Aries woman. Number 1 is to prioritize fitness. I have discussed it so much in this video about movement and how you should really channel that fiery energy into something that you're passionate about so that it becomes an obsession so that it can grow exponentially. This is why fitness is so important for not only your physical body, obviously, but for your mental health. Number 2 is to create structure. I don't think it's just an Aries woman thing. I think it's a general human thing that we like structure, but very much so for the Aries personality also, is to have that cushion to fall back on when we're not in our spontaneous fun flow mode. So creating a structure in the form of time blocking or to-do list would be really, really helpful. And then lastly is to romanticize the fuck out of your life. Literally, pretend you're in a movie and you're the main character. If you were a main character, how would you be living your life? You can watch your TV shows and your movies, and if you feel any sort of jealousy or desire from a character, literally use that as inspiration and put it in your mood board, put it in your vision board, and start acting like that version of yourself. When you start romanticizing your life's gonna get 10 million, trillion, billion times better, because you're gonna start living in a way that is full of love and light and laughter and everything good in the world. Okay, that is all that I have for you beautiful, beautiful people today. I hope that you enjoyed this video on how to live your best life as an Aries woman, and I'll see you soon. Bye.